Pelaz, and welcome to CNN Student News. Today we will be talking about the American Revolutionary War. See ya later.
Dimi! I am a Bostonian. I got angry about events that happened in Boston. I am a statesman. I am Samuel Adams. It's time for the shout-out. Which was the first battle of the Revolutionary War? A. Lexington and Concord. B. Battle of Trenton. C. D-Day. You got 3 seconds. The first battle of the Revolutionary Wars was A. Lexington and Concord. That was your shoutout and that was your answer.
Samuel Adams, a statesman, got angry about the event that happened in Boston. He wrote an article about what happened and gave it a name that captures the essence of this horrible event. He named it the Boston Massacre.
England was being totally unfair with the colonists. All township acts were removed except for tea. This made colonists angry, because if there was one thing colonists loved, it was tea. To make things worse, England signed a contract with the British East India Company, which allowed the company to sell tea directly to the colonists. They sent 3 ships with cheap tea to the colonists. The colonists got worried that this cheap tea would leave them out of business. Members of the Sons of Liberty demanded the ships to leave. The ships refused to leave, so when night came, the members of the Sons of Liberty dressed up as Native Americans and they boarded the ship and threw 340 chests of tea overboard. On December 16, 1773, this night will be remembered in American history forever and is known as the Boston Tea Party. About the events that happened in Boston and thought this was intolerable. This is why a new series of acts were passed out in Boston. The coercive acts were passed out that were later known as the intolerable acts. These were the things that, after so much suffering, finally made Bostonians totally angry and sparked their first hope for rebellion.
British soldiers and give them food. This really upset them and they thought this was totally unfair.
The Boston Harbor was closed. This left many people without jobs.
You shall not pass. No one can enter the Boston Harbor. Go away.
Royal officers accused of crimes were sent to Great Britain for trial. There, they weren't punished so harshly. The officers, colonists, thought this wasn't fair because the British weren't going to punish their own government officials.
The First Continental Congress took place in October 1774. The leaders of all colonies discussed the problems they were having between the colonies and England. Patriots were the people who thought that the colonies should separate from Great Britain. Loyalists were loyal to the king and wanted to maintain and stay together with Great Britain. Patriots and loyalists were always fighting over the thoughts and beliefs about the future of the colonies. Discovered the colonies were planning something, and they had 20 tons of weapons hidden on Lexington and Concord. The colonies had spies in the British army, so they got informed that the British were coming and prepared to fight. When they saw the sign of the red coats, they sounded the alarm and the Minutemen prepared themselves to fight them back.
This event proved to the colonists that they could fight against the British. The Continental Congress took place in 1775 in Philadelphia. The governors were ignored by the English crown the first time. So this time they attempted something new, and for the first time in history the colonies made an attempt to become a republican government.
The final evidence that the Patriots could defeat the British was known in the Battle of Bunker Hill. The Redcoats won, but they had twice as many casualties as the Patriots.
The members of the Second Continental Congress decided to write the Declaration of Independence in July 4th on 1776. This declaration formally announced that the colonists were officially separating from Great Britain. The independence claimed rights except for women, African Americans, and Native Americans.
When England first heard about this, they knew immediately there was going to be a war, so they started recruiting Native Americans and Loyalists. Continental Army, which was commanded by George Washington and had 230,000 soldiers, and local militias had 145,000 soldiers. The Battle of Saratoga in New York was the greatest battle of the Americans. Enemy forces were forced to surrender after the Americans surrounded them. The French and Indian Wars changed the power in America. Both French and Spanish lost a lot of land against Britain. They were happy their enemy was in trouble. Facts. Everyone was joining forces with the Patriots. Even their allied Holland, Spain, and France. Both France and Spain joined the war against England. Even Britain, allied Holland, betrayed them. War at sea. Americans had transformed their vessels into fighting ships. By February 1776, Americans had 8 ships. That month, a small American fleet attacked a British ship near Carolina coast. John Paul Jones was a naval hero. His most famous victory was when he captured the British warship Serapis on September 23, 1779. War in the West broke out in 1779. A surprise attack was launched on Fort Sackville, near the town of Vincennes. This attack was commanded by George Rogers Clark. British government was unsatisfied with the events of the North, so they changed strategy and attacked the South. There they expect the support of the thousands of loyalists, and they also free slaves and enlist them. These were the most brutal wars. They were majorly between loyalists and patriots. Georgia was the last colony to join the war, and the first to fall upon the British forces. 35,000 redcoats easily took Savannah in 1778. British next major target was Charleston, South Carolina. 14,000 soldiers invaded the city on 1778. They again easily won the territory. 4 ships and 5,400 soldiers were taken prisoners. On May, the colony was taken. On 1781, the war was going badly for Patriots.
British General Charles Cornwallis moved his forces of 7,200 men to Yorktown, Virginia. It was a total, fatal mistake. Washington saw the opportunity to make a trap at Yorktown, so he combined his 2,500 men with 4,000 French troops. 16,000 soldiers surrounded the British on October 19, 1781. This was the last major battle of the American Revolution.
The Treaty of Paris of 1783, Great Britain recognized the independence of the United States.